Baby Gabriella.
Oh, Helen. Morning, Helen.
Morning, Helen.
I'm Woofter.
Oh, Helen must be on another page.
Morning, Steph.
Just hasn't got his camera on.
Oh, Helen.
Chris. Oh, morning, Chris.
Oh,
Are you better? You okay, Chris?
Not there yet, but on the mend.
Getting better. Good.
good.
Folks, can I have your attention for a moment, please? Can I have your? We are now. Who's talking? Who's got the telly on? We are now live to YouTube, so you might want to think about what you're saying. So probably not telling us about your recent bank job or anything like that, because we are now live on Facebook. And just before we start, Jill's leading the service this morning. It's the usual rules that when we start the service, if you can, I'll put you all on mute. Jill's leading the service and I will be the congregational voice, so you do the responses with me, but you will be on mute so we don't have a cacophony. Okay, everybody?
Okay, good.
So are you ready to start, Jill?
Michael, does that
Jill, you ready?
Oh. Are you going to put the notices on first?
Yep. I've also got some things to show in the notices, so yeah, we've got some postcards.
You can start the notices off then. If you've got the postcards on.
Well, good morning, everybody. Can you all hear me? Could you just wave your hand if you can? Brilliant. Okay, there's just our motto verse. We usually have this up on the screen in St. Thomas in the morning. So there it is. The people who sat in darkness have seen a great light. And for those who lived in the shadow, in the land where death casts its shadow, a light has shined. A few notices before we kick off. Do remember we now have a couple of regular social events during the week. There's coffee and chat on Wednesday mornings with Jill, and there's craft and natter with Emma and Nettie on Fridays. Please, if you want to take part in those, you can pop in at any time and drop out again, but you just need the Zoom code for both those meetings if you want to join. The unanswered prayer course, which is a follow-up to the prayer course, is being released in mid-February, and we're going to start it on the Wednesday after Ash Wednesday in the evening, February the 24th. That will also be a Zoom meeting. Just picking up on something from the last couple of weeks, we have this wonderful opportunity to invite our friends to pop in and have a peek at the way we worship. They don't have to stay, they can just see what we're like, but it's like inviting somebody to church when they don't have to come into church in order to see what church is about. So please exploit this feature of online if you can. Party on. Well, we want to have something to celebrate in this gloomy time. So Julie and I are putting together something based on the television program Ranganation, which is a participative online party. And I can give you a heads up, there are going to be competitions. We do have a mystery guest who will be judging those competitions. And to give you a heads up, we are taking the theme of pancakes during the meeting. So what we'd like you to do between now and the 13th is to film yourselves making pancakes, and there'll be points for those who toss them. We want to find out who's the best tosser in St. Thomas and All Saints Church. Are you the best tosser in our church? Well, video yourself. And our mystery guest will judge how good a tosser you are. We'd also like you, if you've got anything special you put in your pancake recipe, to be thinking about that, because we'd like people to share their unusual recipes, and have a think about what your favorite filling is, because that's also going to be part of the evening. There are going to be one or two other quizzes, which I'll be announcing near the time. And if there's any prep that you have to do, we'll make sure you know that well before it happens. Again, it'll be on Zoom. And so you will need the Zoom code, which will come via Jill's round robin or from either of us if you get in touch. Keeping in touch is very important at the time. Jill and I and others are trying to keep in touch with people pastorally, but it may be that you just want to, you've got somebody on your mind who might like a phone call or a Zoom meeting or just a chat somewhere or another. Please don't neglect that impulse, because we all need to stay in touch in these difficult times. And as part of that, trying to keep us in touch from next Sunday, which is Cafe Church next Sunday, which will also be on I think I'll be on Facebook. I can't remember now, getting confused. No, it's Zoom. It's Zoom. We're going to be keeping contact with people who can't get online by having phone interviews. So I'm going to be phoning up somebody next Sunday. They know it's coming. I've checked with them in the service, and they'll have a little chat with them. You can all listen in. I'll be asking them how they're doing, what they want us to pray for them. And it's a way of keeping those who aren't online part of the family. So we're going to try and do that most Sundays from here on in. Anybody know of or got a birthday roundabout now? If you have, can you unmute yourself and tell us about your birthday? Anybody with a birthday? Anybody know of anybody with a birthday? Okay, so we're distinctly unbirthdayed today. Fair enough. Right. One of the other things that Jill put in her letter was what we called postcards of life. And I've encouraged people to, if you're out and about walking and you see something unusual or funny or something that just catches your eye, something beautiful like a sunrise or sunset, to take a photograph and send it to me, and we'll look at these at the beginning of our services. So we've got a couple to look at today. So first of all, we've got, oops, sorry about that. We've got Pat's photograph. Pat, do you want to unmute yourself and tell us something about your photo?
Well, it was actually Keith's photo. He saw this squirrel. After Halloween, they put the pumpkins out in the park, and he saw this squirrel. And although he zoomed in, he did manage to get quite close to it, and it sort of sat and looked at him and then carried on munching away on this pumpkin. The following couple of days later, when we went back, there wasn't as much of it left as there is there. So there'd obviously been others at it as well.
Yeah, it's one big squirrel though. God.
I know.
Okay, so, and the other one is, I think, is also from Whitby Park. This is Carol Niall Evans. Do you want to say something about this one, Carol? You'll have to unmute yourself, Carol.
My phone's ringing, sorry. This is Whitby Park, and the pond is, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, I thought I hadn't unmuted it.
No, I can hear.
But after the floods, the field, you know, the grass was flooded. So some of the ducks had decided to do a location, and they were swimming and looking for fish in the puddles rather than in the ponds.
Oh, good luck with that then. Okay, so that's just a couple of photographs. If you've got one, I mean, if it's taken a while back, if you want to share it with us and say something about it, that would be grand. Anyway, over now to Jill, who's going to, so we all mute ourselves. Jill.
Oh, is Gordon frozen? Yes, he has. We just have to wait for him to unfreeze because he's got the screens. Well, good morning, everyone. I'll just carry on while he unfreezes himself. It's good to be with you to worship on our Zoom meeting. We've got so many people joining us this morning. It's great to see so many faces joining us from hither and yon. Last Sunday, I said it was good to have people from different places, and I missed a few people out. That Monique from the Netherlands, I missed her out, but welcome to her. Welcome wherever you are this morning as you join with us. Sue Johnson, I overheard with all the noise that was going on at the beginning of the service. Sue Johnson said, gosh, it's so good to see everybody. But can I remember everybody's name? And so I just want us to think for a moment about names, because we're going to, the passage we've got today is about Simeon and Anna affirming Jesus as their saviour and calling him Lord. So thinking about names, we know Jesus as many names, we perhaps think of him as many names, but just think about names for a minute. I know sometimes I do funerals and the person is called one thing, but they say, oh no, don't say that name. Nobody knows him by that. That was just what the name he was given. He was known as such and such a person. Like Steve's dad, for instance, was known, his name was John. But if you said to John about John to anybody at work, he would say, oh, who's John? He was always known as Jack, never known as John. He was always Jack. My friend, I've got a very good friend. Her husband is Paul. And if you said to anybody about Deb's husband, Paul, they'd think she got a second husband, because he's not ever known as